call this meeting to order, and I will, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meetings, April 17th and 24th? What did we do on the 24th? We don't have any minutes from that, do we?
I wasn't at that meeting.
I'm starting to look for those.
No, cross that off. April 17th.
I was expecting them, but I never got them.
I put it in the mail. I don't know why it's not there.
I'll move we approve the minutes for April 17th.
Discussion.
Just a question.
A question?
You must have missed me, Laurie.
I did.
No notes. Yeah? You must have missed me.
Yes, everything, yes.
Well, the 24th was the goal session, and I was be curious as to what you did discuss.
Yes, I haven't written up the notes yet.
Oh, you do have notes?
Yes.
Okay, and they will go online?
We made no motions.
No, I know you don't.
So.
I was just curious of your discussion.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about it a little bit tonight.
Okay, very good.
And I will get the notes written up
And
and
online?
send them out. Send them out,
Once I get them, they will go online.
Once you get them, yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
they will.
Right.
Right on time.
Did we get a second for that?
We did.
Who said
We've had discussion, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, I'll say aye also. So you got them. How about bills for payment? 22, 22P, CF6, EC3, RB7.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Recognition of visitors and public comments. Yes, Harold Newell.
Yes. I'd like to read something. At the April 3rd, 2013, the Dummerston Select Board meeting, I was appointed to the Dummerston Cemetery Committee. According to the April 17th, 2013 Select Board meeting minutes, the Cemetery Committee had met within those 2 weeks. I was not advised or included in this committee meeting. On Saturday, April 20th, mid-afternoon, I received a call from the Select Board Chair stating he had bad news for me, which was I had been removed from the Cemetery Committee. Just like that, no reason, no explanation, and no officially warned Select Board meeting. I asked questions until I received an explanation from him. He stated a committee member said there could only be 5 members instead of 6 on the committee. Yet, I had previously been appointed by the Select Board. This is a cemetery committee and not cemetery commissioners. Needless to say, I was shocked, dismayed, and most of all, appalled by what was allowed to happen in Dummerston. I have served this town as, and I do, for over 51 and a half years as a resident, a taxpayer. I have applied myself faithfully to the town of Dummerston needs with much pleasure and satisfaction. Kindly explain to me, Select Board members, why one appointee to a board is able to inform your board to slash another appointee. While this decision was finalized without a vote of all Select Board members at a public warned meeting, I am to be slashed from this committee. There is a correct process. Where is the democracy in these actions? I wait for your answer. And I would like this to go on record, please. And there's a copy.
Thank you. Harold, I have to take responsibility for not running a tighter meeting. From what I understand, there should be 5 members, and I accepted nominations for too many people. And so I called you to let you know that we were going to keep with 5 members for that committee.
Now, could I make one statement?
Certainly.
There's no state statute law pertaining to committees. Committees are appointed by the select board, and there's no number. Now, this is state statutes. Commissioners, yes. There's cemetery commissioners that can only be a maximum of 3 or 5. But this is not commissioners. We are a committee. I have got town reports. It's irrelevant, as I said to you, that show where this town has had as much as 7 cemetery commissioners. Maybe 2 or 3 of those might have been selectmen even, because it used to be the duty of the selectmen almost for each side of the hill that was on that particular committee with a group of men or women. Dunn said.
Yes.
Harold, did you happen to bring that statute?
I-
Sounds like this, the
Well, the state
possibility.
statute is right in this, you can get it right on the web.
Oh, yeah, I just wondered if.
No, I don't have it. But that is, there's no statute about appointees. Appointees is...
To a committee, not a commission, you're saying.
No, a commission statute is stated
Right.
relative to cemeteries. It's in the state statutes under cemeteries, and that is in there, and that is commissioners, but not committees. When you refer to committees, you go to the select board, and the only thing that's numbered on committees is, I don't want these, fence viewers is 3, wearer of coal, and pound keeper. Those are still there, and they are by the numbers, and that is state statute. But others, no.
Okay.
So, I've said my piece.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Harold.
Anyone else have any? Jody Normander?
Well, I was just curious, I mean, evidently Harold was appointed at a properly warned select board meeting, but he was unappointed without a properly warned select board meeting. So I don't see how that could have happened.
Sloppy work on my part.
Can it be, I mean, he was appointed, so he should be appointed.
Right. But I was going on information that the cemetery committee wanted to keep 5, their numbers down to 5 members. And I should have consulted them before our meeting where we made the appointments, so we would have known to just appoint 1 person. So,
And I mean, let me, I know, I understand that you say there can be as many as, really, I mean, you could have 100 if you wanted. I myself always feel there should be an odd number on any committee or commission or anything. I mean, that's, I would say if you were going to go with 5, 7, 9, I would always go with an odd number, you know, and I know the cemetery committee, I know what they do. And you might be able to have an even number, but I think it's always good to have an odd number on any board, committee, commission, whatever there is. That's just the way I feel about it.
I just wanted to answer your question when you said that the committee had told you that they only wanted the 5. Is that something that they, as a committee, voted on and decided on that?
No, I don't know what their process was. I had just gotten a call that they wanted to keep it at 5.
I was at that meeting too, and I think it's ironic that, and I don't know if she's the chair or not, Terry Chapman, or if they even have a chair. She was present at that meeting and didn't speak up that night.
That he was appointed?
Yeah, right. So that makes it a little bit more difficult to have it happen after the fact.
She was at the one he was appointed at?
Yes.
I guess I didn't know she was at that one. I know she went to the next one.
Well, I could be mistaken on that.
If it was the next one, I was here, so.
Yeah, and I think that's when she was here, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Harold?
I can say that I questioned the individual, and I questioned other committee members. Did they have a meeting, and was this discussed? And it wasn't discussed, only with 2 of them. The 2 others of committee members were never notified about the meeting that they did have at Wilder even. And we do have on this, the reason that I applied myself was that I knew we had 2 people on there, that one person is out of town 10 days, every other week constantly, and the other person is of more age than I am and has a greater disability of getting around than I am. So, and I thought that it was a means of helping the town. And I knew at the time I presented my name, I knew that Tom Johnson had resigned, and that's why I presented my name to make the 5th member at that time, to make it back to 5, not knowing that Lee was going to also enter his name or submit his name. But my suggestion is this: if you want to stay with an odd number, I suggest that you appoint a select board member to be a member of that committee, if you want to have 7 on that committee. We did have, in prior years, we've had a select board member be part of the committee, but not official member of the committee. I can remember when Lewis was on and we went and checked cemeteries and stuff. Right?
Oh, they call me all the time to go to, you know, they called me when they were burying, now they'll call Zeke because he's the chair. But the cemetery committee calls, they have one person that deals with the guy that digs the graves. And the select board gets a call because we are the commissioners. We get a call. They don't just bury somebody. We get a call about it. If there's an issue, there was a couple issues, you know, last year with it. And, you know, they call and talk to a select board member. I mean, I don't think the board has to have a member on there. We are in communication with them. You know.
Historically, there's been a select board member acting as a liaison between the select board and the cemetery committee.
Right.
They've actually been part of the committee.
Right, and that's what it's been when I was the chair, that was who really was the contact person.
Right.
So, what would you like to do, gentlemen?
The only thing we could do maybe is put on our next meeting to discuss if we want the committee to stay at 5 and have it warned, and if that's the concern.
Or move to 7, if we follow Lewis's suggestion. Or allow 6. 3 options.
So we probably want to have it on our agenda for next meeting and hurry meeting.
Discuss it then.
Yeah, Jody?
Well, I see further down here, I see you have, under correspondence for discussion or under action, I see you have a member resigning.
They
So that
put in a letter of resignation.
So that might be the solution to the problem.
Well, it depends what we do with it. So, let's put it on our agenda for next time. Thank you for bringing that up, Harold. Any other public comment? No? Okay. Alex Wilson,
Yes.
come on. What?
I said something before it gets started.
Sure, sure.
You have a wonderful committee.
Oh, thank you.
Magnificent.
Yeah, it
The
is.
work that committee does for this town is unbelievable.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We sent a letter on March 20th to the select board, really just seeking guidance on whether the select board wants the energy committee to pursue a photovoltaic solar electric system for the town. And if so, how interested you are in that. We're getting inquiries all over the place from at least 3 different local companies that are coming to towns around the state wanting to put in PV systems. And we think it's a good idea, but we don't want to put a lot of energy into it unless there's general support for the idea. And as I understand it, you know, here's the way it works. There are various incentives in place right now for solar electric systems. many of those incentives, or some of those incentives, really only apply to corporations or really wealthy individuals that have investment gains they want to hide somehow or benefit from. Municipalities can't benefit from those particular investment incentives. So apparently these companies that are providers of solar systems know of either wealthy investors or corporations, some of which I think may be out of state, who have these gains they want to put into something, and get a better return than putting money in the bank, I guess, and have offered to front the money. So as I understand it, and again, this is without doing a lot of digging into this, the town of Dummerston or the town school district could decide to put in a solar electric system that would provide all of the power needed on an annual basis for the school. Let's say the school's our largest energy consumer. And there would be, again, as I understand it, no cost to the town. The town would, I think, and this varies a little bit from company to company, but the town over time would gain ownership of that system, but initially it would be owned by these investors until they realize their investment benefits out of it. One of our concerns in moving ahead with it is just that it sounds a little squirrely, making money from nothing or laundering money in some way. So we don't want to invest a lot of time in it if it's something that the town's going to say, we don't want any part of it. Brattleboro is moving ahead with some ideas like this, at least at the research level, both the town and the Brattleboro School Board. So there is a precedent locally for doing that. And it would be nice, and it would fit our town plan to be generating a significant chunk of our energy consumption in the town from renewable energy sources. We have a goal of getting to 40% renewable energy sources by the year 2030, I think. So this would go a long way toward that. Anyway, so I just wanted guidance, or the committee wants guidance. So, what are your thoughts?
This is a little bit chicken and egg. It reminds me of when I plan a trip with students. Do I want to do all the planning ahead of time, then no one wants to go? Or do I find people that clearly want to go, collect a deposit without really knowing, and then working it that way? I was very intrigued by the idea when we first heard it, but wanted to hear from your expertise. I have total confidence in your committee. But I don't know if the town would accept it. I'm sure what the town wants to know is what's the cost, and what is the cost relative to current energy costs. And if we take the environmental issue out, I know that's ludicrous, but if we take that out and we strip this down to just cost, in the long run, once the town has received this no-cost energy collection system, is it going to be costing the town more than what it currently pays for energy? I'm sure that would be the townspeople's primary concern. I may be wrong. Mine would be tempered a little bit by the environmental, that for sure, but whether that means we authorize you to go ahead with your work and then possibly pull the rug out after you've done a lot of work, which would be somewhat criminal, or we do something else.
Well, we're glad to do the digging into it with the understanding that the select board or the town may decide not to go ahead with it. But we don't want to invest time unless the select board thinks it's a good idea to at least look into it.
Well, you have my vote. I don't know how it'll go.
I'd be interested in more information. Right now, I'm wondering, gee, where would this go? Seems like many private individuals have been going ahead with this already. why does the town need to get involved? But and of course I think, oh, the school would be a great place. They've got $25,000 budgeted for electricity in the coming year. But more information, I'd be would make it a little easier to decide.
Yeah. Apparently, one of the other issues would be the issue of where to put it. And we've been approached about this for several years, and there hasn't been an obvious piece of land. The town doesn't own a suitable property with, a good south exposure. However, as we thought about it a little bit more, we realized that there may be properties in the town, private ownership, where residents could really benefit from a little bit of revenue. And, I chatted with someone on the Brattleboro Energy Committee that's been looking into this, and the number was thrown around for a 5-acre solar system generating something like $10,000 a year in rental income from housing that system. So what occurred was that there might be a landowner, maybe even a farmer, a struggling farmer who has land that they want to generate some revenue that's not being put into productive use currently. So there could be benefits to residents in the town as well.
Jody, no more though?
At our last meeting, at your last meeting, excuse us, our last meeting, it was mentioned that it didn't even have to be in Dummerston. They even mentioned doing it in Rutland and we could benefit from it. And I don't understand how that would work.
Yeah, Vermont has something called a net metering law, where you can benefit from a solar electric system that's not on your property. In fact, at the Leonard farm that we're working on, my wife and I, we're putting in an 18 kW PV system on the roof of the barn, and 6 kW of that is going to be owned by somebody in the village. And you can do that. As long as you're within the Green Mountain Power territory, you don't have to be on the same property as the power's generated. And you work out a deal with Green Mountain Power, they would get billed a proportional amount of the electricity that's produced from the system. So in the same way, the town of Dummerston could have a system, a PV system, located on buildings in Rutland. There are a lot of flat roof buildings that could house PV systems. I kind of cringe at the idea of taking prime agricultural land and planting solar arrays on it. But there are other undervalued uses of land.
The high school's got how many acres of roof?
6 acres, a flat roof.
With roof installations, it's a little challenging because you're dealing with penetrations and there are liability concerns and maintenance concerns. In general, the companies around here that do installations like Sovereign, which I think did the system at Scott Farm, Integrated Solar, and another company that's fairly new to the area, they prefer ground-mounted systems, I think, for those liability concerns with roofing.
Yeah, Perkins actually did the one at Scott Farm.
Okay, Perkins, right.
Can I ask what kind of timeline you're looking at? If the select board indicated an interest tonight in the committee exploring it, what are you looking at time-wise?
We haven't really talked about a schedule. It would be something we would look into over the next couple of months. I don't know that there's a particular urgency, although some of the incentives come and go. And right now it's apparently quite attractive for municipalities to enter into these kinds of arrangements. And some of those pots of money may be depleted quickly, but I'm not sure.
I'd love to tell you to go ahead. We'll see what happens.
I actually have a lot of concerns. number one, they're pretty unsightly when you got a large, just go up through Bellows Falls or go up through Route 91 and 89 and look at the two big ones up there. They're really unsightly. And
Big farm just north of White River you're talking about?
yeah,
Off to the
yeah, that's a
right?
shame. That right down on the river. But anyway, that's a big concern I have, particularly for the neighbors that got to look at them. And I'm also concerned with, we're so interested in Dummerston and protecting open land. You know, I just don't see putting a big solar farm on some of our open land. That buildings are great, and I'm, you know, I really appreciate what Walker Farm did, where he didn't take any of his valuable land. He put them on a roof, you know, and that's the best thing. I find it somewhat, I don't know if condescending is the word or what, but that we have a lot of rich people that are looking for a tax incentive, and they're going to take a poor farmer in Dummerston and try to utilize his land. And I find that somewhat disturbing. The other thing, the two bigger things that bother me, or three, is I thought recently, and I could be wrong, that I'd heard that there's plenty of power available in Vermont through our deal with Canada. I also am really concerned how much longer Green Mountain Power is going to continue to pay a premium for this. At some point, they're going to decide it's not worth it, because it's also an awful job for Green Mountain Power. Every time there's a wire down or something, they have to go shut all these solar generating things off before they can go repair the wire. My other concern, and maybe you know, Alex, but what's the disposal cost of these? My understanding is something in them that's going to be very expensive to dispose of, and I could be wrong, but two electricians have told me that. And that when you said that these people were willing to take the upfront advantage and turn it over to us, and I'm thinking, yeah, if there's a wicked disposal fee, maybe they would be happy to do that. So I'd really be curious what the disposal situation is. I've had two electricians tell me that there's something in them that's going to be very hard to dispose of, and I don't know what it is, but that's something I'd really be interested in. Siting is really an issue. Like when we talked about this, I said to Zeke, I mean, geez, I'd love to get money from putting a solar array behind Zeke's house, but it wouldn't be particularly pretty for him or anybody coming up Middle Road. And this is what bothers me about this. So I'm probably not real in favor of it unless the school wanted to do it or something like that on their property, but they're not pretty. But if you could find out something about disposal, I would be really curious about that, because I've heard that from two electricians.
Yeah. If I can respond to that just briefly, my sense is that, you know, that's kind of a rumor that goes around that these photovoltaic panels are toxic in some way. There have been technologies used in solar electricity like cadmium telluride technology that uses cadmium, which is a heavy metal that's toxic. NiCad batteries are toxic for disposal. But 99% of solar electric panels that are in use today are based on silicon technology. There's a small amount of doping, very small amounts of boron and phosphorus are added to the junction of these cells, but I don't believe there's anything toxic about it. No more toxic than these window glass. It's hard to recycle probably because you've got, dissimilar materials. There are aluminum frames on these. There might be a Teflon coating on the glass to protect it. The cells themselves are silicon and these small amounts of metal conductors, but I don't believe there's anything toxic about them.
Anybody else?
No, I mean, I got a lot of the same concerns, but I would like to hear more of that Steve has. I'd like to hear more about it, but I agree with a lot of what Steve's concerns were, and just like to know more. I mean, I know they say they've got a 20-year life. The panel's supposed to last for 20 years, And then the replacement cost, what's it gonna cost to replace the panels in 20 years? You know, hopefully the price goes down on them, but they may go up on them too, you know, with the technology and stuff. So, I mean, they say the average is supposed to be 20 years.
Yeah,
And
from
then
what
you're-
I'm reading now, you know, that 20-year figure was put on for liability reasons. There are systems that have been in use for 40 years now that are still doing really well. So my understanding is that 20-year was a pretty conservative estimate.
Okay, because I just heard it just last year, the 20-year, and it was, basically, it's gonna start breaking down before the 20 years, but you're still gonna have, you're still gonna be able to gain your power, but it will start, it's gonna start breaking down before 20 years, and 20 years, you ought to be looking at, you're gonna be replacing it. And I mean, I heard that from the installer just, I think it was last year.
The output will drop a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna drop, and, I mean, it's gonna start dropping, you know, probably in 15 years, and then it's gonna, you know, progressively get worse up to the 20 years. And then I'm just saying what the installer actually, you know, had told me, so, but.
So it sounds like there's some interest, some concerns, and if you and your committee want to pursue this or
Great.
get some answers,
Okay.
we'd be very interested to hear what you come up with.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
May I ask another
Yeah,
energy
sure,
committee
sure.
question?
We're just here to make it.
To make it easy,
For you to-
you don't care what time you go home tonight, do you?
No, Jody, if you have questions, we're.
Well, it's been
we're public
talked about for
servants.
quite a while, about the energy committee doing some non-invasive lighting in this area here with the town offices and everything.
Right.
And it came again to our attention when, I think it was the planning commission meeting, met over at the church, and we got out at night.
The poor lighting.
And we were all talking about it'd be kind of nice to have these little lights along a walkway or something or other, or a light in a tree that came down, and I didn't know where you were at that point.
Yeah, we're aware of that need for lighting to get safely over to the church. And our lighting guy, Stan Howe,
Yeah, he's great.
Smokey, is working on that, and they had a refueling at the power plant, so he's been pretty maxed out with that. But I'll make sure that gets onto the front burner.
Yeah, and I will echo Bill's comment about the energy committee. It's really a fantastic.
Is the parking lot out here included, I hope?
Yeah, and walking away from, when you leave this
Yes,
building in the
yes.
evening, the lights don't kick on till you get.
Well, it isn't that, but when you get down to the parking lot, it's still black.
Yeah.
There's only this one light here, and,
There's one on the historical society that comes on too.
yeah, but it still doesn't, in the parking lot, you don't, when you want to back a car around or
Right.
something, you don't know if somebody is standing behind you or not.
Right, people should lock their cars here, because I just get in the first car, see if my keys keep going down the line until I find one that works, and I drive it home. I don't know.
There's so many Subarus out there, that's why. Thank you.
I have one more question, relative to the solar panels. I understand, or I've read, that Westminster was going ahead with it, the town up, to what extent, I don't know. But I was wondering if there was a town-to-town relationship, or when we stopped, if that, say the town of Westminster had a much larger area, or a area that Dummerston could apply funds to help build it there and yet be receiving the funds from it.
Something like that would be possible, as far as I understand. I remember reading about a system that was proposed for Westminster, but that was a year or two ago, and I didn't know that was the town per se doing that. It was going to be in the town, but we'll look into that. Yeah. There was some sentiment on the Energy Committee that if the town of Dummerston or the school board had a large solar system, that we as a town should take responsibility for it and house it in Dummerston, not house it in Rutland. There was a pretty strong feeling by one of the committee members about that. You know, that if there are concerns about systems being unsightly, it's not a concern I share, but some people do, you know, we ought to own up to it if we want to benefit from the power from the system and put it in our backyard. So. All right,
Thank you very much for coming in.
thank you.
Look forward to an update.
Great.
Like your articles too.
Okay, so where's Lee? No, Lee Chamberlain today?
He's not coming.
Oh, okay. We've got a request from the town clerk for a traffic study from the Wyndham Regional Commission on Sugar House Road. And as Pam explained this to me, it would cost the town nothing. A resident was concerned, she felt people are mistaking Sugar House Road as a shortcut to Dover. And they're driving pretty fast while they, before they figure it out. So Lee is going to put some signs at the base of the road.
He's gonna put a no outlet sign,
Yeah, no outlet, and maybe posted at 35. Or,
35
Yeah.
for now.
So the request is that we let Wyndham Regional put some wires out there and get an idea of just how much traffic there is and what speed they're going.
Or to authorize the town clerk to request that traffic study, right?
Yes.
I'll move to authorize the town clerk to request a traffic study on Sugar House Road.
Second?
Okay, discussion. Of course.
Isn't
Yes.
that
Do
right?
you want to come up to the table?
Yes, I'd like to. I would have liked to when I was younger. Isn't that right next to Maple Valley?
Yes.
Isn't that just a driveway to people's houses? It's not, is it a town road?
Well, you know, some
Right.
people are attached to, and feel it's a road.
It is a town road,
Yeah.
the town took it
Town
over.
took it
But
over.
several years
but there's
ago.
no outlet, it's not a,
Right.
it's not a road. or-
Cul-de-sac.
Huh?
So people
Cul-de-sac.
are apparently mistaking it for Depot Road, or, you know, it looks like it might go over to Dover.
Okay, I
Or
just,
they try every time. Maybe they finish this road and then.
well, maybe I
With
should,
Steve's construction.
I was thinking of requesting one for Tucker Reed Road.
Are you
Reed Road
maybe
does have an
setting?
outlet.
I know, but for the speed or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
We get the goldsmiths and me and we'll come and request it.
Well, you could. So we've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And Pam, we'll get that back to Pam. All right, let's see. Oh, open bids for the tractor mower blower.
Oh, she's carrying one of those, huh?
Okay, looks like we've got two.
Oh, is he?
Pocket like my checker.
I know, I see he's using a backhand here. I'm gonna give you a little space.
I know,
See.
yeah, these glasses I don't have.
You guys have a fancy little sheet made up for us?
No, I didn't, because since you're not gonna award it tonight,
Right.
when Lee goes through it, that'll make up the fancy little spreadsheet.
Okay. All that, for just that?
No, check in there.
Hmm?
There's gotta be more in there. You wouldn't have wasted that, would you?
I wouldn't have.
There's a credit card in there for you.
All set.
Yeah, I was looking for the $100 bill, but I.
Who's it from?
This is from Chapel Tractor Sales of Milford, New Hampshire. And this is for the M60 four-wheel drive tractor, 63 horsepower tractor, ferry, flail-type mower, extra set of hammer knives, blower, front weights, LED warning light. Their price is $54,700. And from Pinnacle View of Walpole, New Hampshire. Same tractor, same flail mower, extra set of hammer knives. The blower. Okay, same set of weights and warning light. They come in at 53,915. So we open the bids. I guess we put this on the agenda for,
The next meeting.
yeah,
Pinnacle view.
fiscal views over here. So, yeah, 53. Okay.
Third party didn't, he said he was gonna submit 3, the third one didn't acknowledge it.
I think he sent out to 4 dealers, is what I
And
understand.
this, only the 2 responded.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other highway business? We had a question about speeding on Tucker.
Reed Road.
Yeah, and the sheriff was under the misinformation that if the road wasn't posted, it would be very difficult to enforce a speed limit. But there's an ordinance in Dummerston that says roads that aren't posted are 35 miles an hour.
Oh, he knows that, because I've talked to him about that, and he knows that.
Apparently, one of them didn't know that.
Oh,
So we're straightening them out.
Who's the speeder, Paul?
it's a cutoff, and school time and SIT, and you take a look at Goldsmiths at the foot of the hill. They've got that one of those little people signs in the summertime that they put out there, and because they come flying down the hill from them, they come flying up the hill from us, and I'm sitting out there and I'm going, slow down. The dust goes flying, and they do that all the time. I talked to the sheriff myself. Nice email conversation.
My wife has a death ray that she might, has worked very well in front of our house.
She has
and
chickens.
She might let you
She has chickens.
borrow that.
How many chickens have you lost?
Oh, not many. Not many.
I think it's great. I sat and see there and they go toot, 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 right across the road.
So, Renault gravel pit. Give us the update.
Yeah, they, Corey requested from Act 250 what restrictions and what their thoughts were on the permit. And they forwarded, 6 pages of stuff. And Bob Fisher and Corey reviewed it, and they wanted to talk to Thomas's about the blasting conditions that were in there. So other than that, we're really just sitting and waiting. I mean, it really was nothing other than we wanted to see what Act 250 was thinking. And then they want to schedule a meeting Monday the 13th to look at the driveway down in there.
Access road.
And I'm not sure, it says Lee, Mike, and I, meaning Corey, and it's asking about people attending, but I mean, I'd be happy to go to the meeting to represent us, or...
I said back that I would attend as long as it was, by afternoon, if they meant 4:30,
Yeah,
I'm in business.
yeah, I think
I would join you.
we're really just sitting and waiting. They're still waiting on the stormwater permits, the problem, so... But I was gonna try to make that meeting too.
They haven't set the time yet, though.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
somebody will let me know.
I will.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions about the gravel pit? No. Correspondence for information. We have a letter of interest from Barbara Hamilton. We also have a letter from Mary Ellen Copeland saying that Dana Aquadro is going to finish out his term. So,
What does that mean? He means he's Quitting?
He was going to resign.
Oh,
And
okay.
we had a letter of interest from someone who wanted to fill his spot.
Okay.
Would you like me to respond to her and let her know that we'll keep her letter on file in case there's another opening?
Sure, we could do that. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. Anything you want to discuss on that? Well, then let's go down to correspondence for discussion and/or action. There's a letter to Ken Carpenter regarding the semi-annual increase in the price paid for gravel and sand. And we've all seen that. And we need a motion to approve that.
I move we approve the cost of living raise, right? Is that what it increased in the gravel? Is that what you call it?
Second.
Discussion?
I saw that in the papers. That came from him, though, not from us, right?
It came from me.
Oh, that came
Yeah.
from you? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I misunderstood that.
It's every
Okay.
year.
Every
2 years.
Every 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
We look at the consumer price index and then adjust the price of gravel and sand based on that.
Yeah. I understood it. I just thought he had drafted. I didn't know Lori done all that work.
So with this price increase, it's going to go from $2.78 a cubic yard to $2.92. And the adjustment will be made on July 1st.
Yes.
All right, and calculate, is that right? On this letter, it says July 1st, 2015?
No.
No,
May I see that letter?
of course. You know, we do sometimes read the things we put.
It was just a test. Oh, no, that's right. The next adjustment will be, after this one will be made on
Okay.
July 1st, 2015.
Sometimes we don't understand what we read.
Hey,
He never had a rate ground.
yes.
I think you
Yes.
want to change it to biannual as opposed to semi-annual.
Thank you. We had this discussion in the office.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yes, that's why I was confused. All right.
Right.
We have 2 letters of resignation. I don't know what your pleasure is on those. I would suggest we wait on Terry Chapman's letter.
At least till after the next meeting, as a result of what we did earlier in this meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. She doesn't mind.
I'll give her a call and let her know what
Okay.
you're doing. Steve Glayback has a letter of resignation.
Yeah.
I move that we accept Steve's letter of resignation from the planning commission with regret.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you learn that?
Seems like you can't make that motion, Zeke. I throw that in for you.
I guess I'll second it then. But
Okay.
I just saw your letter here.
Yeah,
A few days-
I just don't have time to give.
I thought that would be amazing. We're working too hard.
All right. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Steve, did you vote? Or
I did not vote, no.
Okay, thanks.
I was getting to that.
Unfinished business. Do you want to do anything with the RERP?
Did we have a chance to check with Red Cross about
No,
where people are going?
no, we haven't. We haven't. I think we should invite them to a meeting, but when I do write up our goals session, that will be part of.
Oh, that's right, too, yeah, right.
Yeah. So, I'm happy kicking that one down the road. appointments to the DRB and Planning Commission. I have nothing.
Well, we have a letter from Bev Tier asking to be appointed to the DRB.
Right.
And,
There's the question that was raised by Gail and you, that do we have to have that person be a regular member rather than an alternate?
So, I mean, I guess where we go with that then is we'd have to, because once you're appointed to the DRB, it takes a hearing to have somebody removed unless they're willing to step, one of the people that we have appointed steps down to take the alternate position. Would be one way to do that, is to ask somebody to step down. Or, I mean, you could, I mean, that's why I said when we brought it up, we could do what you guys had suggested and make the planning commission member a alternate for a year or two until, you know, somebody resigns. I mean, you could do it that way too. But I think in the right in the bylaws it says a member. So I would think we'd have to ask one of the three that we had appointed to step down to an alternate position, and that would open up a position.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not ready to vote on that yet, but it depends what everyone else wants to do.
That's a tough thing to ask somebody to do, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm willing to make a motion that we appoint Bev Tier to the alternate position on the DRB as an alternate. And I'll make that motion then.
Yeah, I'd second that.
Okay, discussion?
You wanted to wait.
The bylaw, I mean, I guess I'd have to read the bylaw. I mean, it says a member of the DRB. I mean, even alternates are members of the DRB.
But it says in there though, it says a member of the DRB, and then it says and two alternates. I mean, I guess that's how you read it. When I read it that it had to be a member of the DRB. And then there's two alternates.
Which are 5 members, so, DRB.
Right, originally I read it as including all 7 members. Jody?
You made another approach at your last meeting to find a DRB member who would go to the...
I thought I had a fish on the line and got off.
They broke the hook.
Yep, I thought I had.
Yeah, they were very interested. And
Yep, so that's why.
Because that would be a really good solution.
And that would still leave the alternate space open. So that's why I'm going to, I'm still in favor of waiting, but we have a motion and it's been
so
seconded.
what would be your thought of waiting?
I guess I'd maybe try to resolve this, maybe even ask VLCT to read the section of our bylaw about member alternates. Cast my line one more time into the DRB pool and see if I can catch someone. And then go from there.
And with the vacancy that you have now in the planning commission, it would be easy to put that person on the planning commission.
Yes, that was.
Yeah. And besides Beverly Tier's letter of interest, you had another candidate last time who had indicated an interest also.
We had
Mark.
actually,
Marty Ferret.
but we also have the other two DRB members that were not reappointed. They could So we actually have 4 people.
And you also had another interested party for the planning
Planning
commission.
commission.
Yeah. Right, right.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
Mr. Tebow.
Right, gee whiz, we've got a plethora.
Oh, it's nice that there's people that are
Yeah,
interested in
yeah.
doing it. They're both a lot of work.
Right.
I think I'll support you in this. There seems to be enough uncertainty,
Mhm.
and for us to go forward and appoint somebody tonight and then possibly put a human being in a
Right,
potentially uncomfortable spot here,
right.
probably not a good idea. I'm hoping we don't have a 2-2 vote.
I think that's what we might end up. But we don't know. Any more discussion?
Yeah, point of information.
Yes, sir.
When I was studying state statutes, there is a statute now relative to DRB, so I would advise that you, as select board, read it and know what it says, because it's quite entailed by a state statute.
Yeah, it's Dummerston zoning that actually says there should be a
State statute
DRB member.
overrules that. Oh, it says
I
so.
don't think there's anything on the state
Well, I don't know, I shouldn't say
It's
that,
our
but
zoning,
I thought,
and we do that so that the DRB can be involved in a Act 250.
I don't know, I just know that I ran onto that and studied it in detail.
Okay,
Point of information.
thank you.
What information was that, though? I
About-
mean, I guess I miss your information,
It
because you're...
told what, in order to remove or to appoint, how it had to be done by hearings. And
Which is
it
what
went
Louis
into
already
detail.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I...
what Louis already said.
I know, but by hearings. You
Okay.
said some of it, but I didn't know if they were fully aware of the whole show.
Okay. Got a motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay? We've got a tie vote here, so.
Well, I guess we didn't accomplish anything, did we?
We had a good
We had
discussion.
good discussion,
Good
yeah.
discussion.
So, Zeke, will you go ahead and contact VLTC?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. and
to
get-
clarify that.
Okay, yeah. Right, I mean, if they don't hear from me by, say, noontime, they call me just to make sure I'm okay.
What, VLCT?
Yeah. Yeah. Discussion of the Tebow mediation. We're going to meet tomorrow afternoon. And my friends at VLCT strongly recommended that we have the town attorney there. So I'd like permission or a vote from the select board to allow us to have the town attorney attend that mediation session.
This is something we have to vote on as a board. Then I'll move that we retain the town attorney for tomorrow afternoon. Mediation and T-ball.
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Me again. Does everybody who was at the previous hearing and are a party to this, do they all know about this?
Yes, you're speaking about the Ables?
Well, the Abels and the neighbor across the way and the people next
Everyone who
door
has
and...
party status, I think is the proper term.
And the Ables are the only ones with party status. The
Oh,
others
okay.
chose not to.
And
The
they,
whatchamacallit's daughter is not a party status then, okay?
Yeah.
No, she's not. She
They're on
chose not
board.
to.
All right.
And is there actually a mediator? Or are you more negotiating?
I think we're sort of going to find out tomorrow. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, I recuse myself from it, so...
Okay, thanks.
I didn't hear your melodious tone.
Okay, we've got some new business. Thank goodness. Yes.
Could I ask one more on unfinished business?
Sure,
Is there
sure.
an update on the Learning Collaborative?
Let's see, I'm wondering, the DRB, no.
No,
BCA.
BCA met,
right.
did an inspection of the property, made a report. They met in deliberative session and came to a decision. And I don't know, can we
The decision hasn't been officially issued yet. It hasn't been turned over to the town clerk.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
thank you.
yes, that, a reason to come back next
Right,
time.
right.
She don't you?
When will they be having that meeting? Because the listers can come to that meeting, right? When they make the decision to.
I believe that they made their decision at the
Okay.
meeting on Monday,
Yeah,
but it hasn't been.
but they're all done then?
Yes,
That's my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay.
they just, right, the notificate, the letter has to go out to the.
Yes, yes.
Okay. New business, we have an invitation to bidders for the Wilder Cemetery. And you all saw that?
Yeah,
And let's see, it's going to, I don't have the sheet here that says who it's going out to. But, so I guess we need a motion to approve this and send it out.
The list is on my desk.
Okay.
It's probably, Layback Contractors is on the list. There are listed about 10.
I remember Evans, A.S. Clark,
Mm-hmm.
Bristol, Travis.
Travis Bristol, Woody's Excavating.
Woody's,
Yeah, Grover's.
yeah.
What are you doing to it? What's the bid?
Okay.
Actually, they're gonna have a pre-bid meeting and go over what's
Yeah.
gotta be bid on, rather than, I didn't say anything in there about what they're
Right,
bidding.
right, it just
They're gonna have a
says
pre-bid meeting
an
to discuss what
invitation
has
to
to be done.
bidders, so they're going to invite bidders to a meeting at the cemetery on May 8th at 6 p.m. And then all bids will be sealed and delivered to the town office. The select board will open them on May 15th.
Well, you must know what you want to have done. I guess that's.
This is pretty normal, Jody. You have a pre-bid meeting where you bring your people in to show them, because it's excavating, stump removal.
Well,
all that kind of stuff.
that's what I wanted to know.
Oh.
What are you doing?
It's
here?
not
Are you
specified in the letter.
redoing stones?
It's
Are you?
not step.
Okay.
It's not specified in the letter. You have a pre-bid meeting and then Lee tells you what you're bidding on.
Okay.
That's,
And it also says the work will be completed by.
So the trees were cut and now you want to clean it up to, so it'll be
Right.
good.
sticks and
okay.
stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I was getting at, so thank you.
All right, so can I have a motion to approve this invitation to bidders?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I guess I need to abstain.
All right, well, we're, okay, and report on the goals work session. Well, there, I've dropped the ball on that one. But I'll write up a summary, I'll send it out, I'll send it to Lori. And we'll have it, I'll do it at my, maybe because we're finishing up early, I'll go home tonight.
Yes, it's only 7 o'clock.
Okay. So, is there any other business? Anybody else? This may be the last time we have a Wednesday meeting without the lawnmowers going out.
I've asked them not to mow the lawn Wednesday nights, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I will accept a motion to adjourn if there's no other business. Oh,
At this time, I'm going to request an executive session for this evening on personnel matter.
okay, that's a new one for me. Let me just check with the staff here.
An executive session wouldn't involve you, Harold. How would we?
Yeah, the board has to request an executive session, and then you would invite whoever you wanted to join you in that executive session. But I don't believe that a member of the public can request an executive session.
How do you know what I'm talking about?
What he wants is he wants to speak to you privately.
Oh,
Basically.
want to walk me out to my car? I've got about half a dozen cars I've got to try to get going.
Oh, shit, oh, wow.
Um,
Actually, we didn't discuss the break-in at the, we should have.
Okay. Well,
Have we adjourned yet?
No, we haven't.
No.
No.
I didn't hear anything about it other than it happened.
Okay, you got my phone
Yeah,
message.
yeah.
Okay.
Do we know what was stolen, or?
There was an update later in the day
Oh,
that
okay.
said nothing was
I
taken.
didn't look at it.
They assumed that possibly somebody was casing the joint
Okay.
for a possible, and also a description of someone was given in a later email.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Wearing
I
a
didn't-
hoodie,
I didn't-
150 pounds,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, 5'6", but, yeah,
Okay, all right, thank you.
that's all.
Wearing reading
May I add
glasses.
to that, though? According to Pam's email that came out about someone walking down Middle Road, there is a person who walks up and down Middle Road because he takes care of a person on Middle Road that might fit that description, and I would hate to have him
Oh,
harassed.
sure. Right.
He either walks or uses a bicycle, and
Well,
I
I
passed
think-
him, Paul's picked him up.
At 11:30 at night, does he
It's
walk?
sometimes it's really late at
Yeah.
night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, now it may not be this person, but I would hate to have him picked up
All right.
because of the
But I think
description.
Lee, this was Lee who had gone to check the alarm, and I think Lee would recognize that fellow, but,
Yeah, because we see him all the
Yeah.
time.
sure, I see him also.
I thought you were talking about me for a moment.
No,
Until you
if you're
said it.
pushing that bike up the hill,
Until you said 150 pounds.
I didn't say
Thank you.
that.
That's what I was going to say. That shut you out of it.
It was the young person that was a giveaway.
Covered by hoodie, you know.
yeah. Well, everybody's worried about hooded people these days. So, yeah.
And backpackers.
Well, getting back to Harold's
Yes,
executive
I
session.
want to do that.
Unless we knew what we were talking about or going to be talking about, I don't feel comfortable going into executive session. I mean, if you want to bring it up, here's Harold, I would.
Yeah, you might want to bring
I
it
don't
up
think it's
to us, and then
the
we
proper
can
thing,
put it
what I
on
want to tell
the
or
agenda.
say at this time. Because I don't want to use names in public.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Is it proper for you to speak to one of us, Harold, and we could offer it next meeting as an
Yeah.
executive
But
session?
I wouldn't only, I don't know, because there again, it's true facts what I want to tell you, and I think it's something that you need to know that you don't know. That's the point.
Then maybe what you should do, because it's, I don't know if procedurally we can do what you're asking us to do, maybe you should give us a call or contact us just like you would with any other issue, and then we can deal with it.
I can do that way.
Okay?
Or
To
not
go
even
to, and the ones that's in your mouth, I mean, you can say, well, Harold told me, I don't care. It's truth.
Okay.
All right?
You just want to play gossip.
No, that's the point. That's why I didn't want
All right.
to do it in public.
Very good. I think, has a motion been made to adjourn?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I thought you made it.
Did I make it?
Yeah, you did.
You're getting old.
Getting.
I'll second Bill's motion.
all right.
Laura, did I make a motion?
I believe you did 5
Thank you,
minutes
Laura.
ago.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're supposed to have my back.